So, are you struggling with direction? Do you think you're aiming somewhere but it ends up going a totally different direction? Well, a lot of it could be down to poor alignment. And there's one thing that I'm going to show you today, which is called parallax. Now, parallax is really important that you, first of all, you understand it. I'm going to try and show you some different ways to visualize it, and it should really help you to improve your golf, especially on the golf course, because people don't spend time doing this. So come on, let's go do it. So body alignment, okay, how we aim to the target is really crucial. I've done a few 9-hole lessons recently, and one of the things that I've noticed with these golfers is they have a misunderstanding of where they're aiming, or where they actually think they're aiming, okay, and how, they when they do it immediately and we change them on the golf course, most golfers that I tend to teach on the golf course will tend to aim to the right hand side, and there's a reason for that. What's that reason? It's called parallax. So I want to try and explain it to you, okay, and what that is. I'm going to try and do a different camera view of my eye line when I'm aiming to something to where versus where you're going, all right? It's really important. So there's an old saying, the eye see, the brain receives, and the body reacts. And this is going to be true with parallax, okay? Now, firstly, we've got to understand what is good alignment, okay? If you don't understand that, then and you're starting out and so on and so forth, then you're really struggling. So we have something we call ball to target line. This is a line that I've put sticks down. You should do this whenever you practice. You should always put alignment sticks down. They're fairly cheap to buy, and you can't have too many. But when you practice, this little practice station here is going to help me with my alignment. So when I'm practicing, I don't have to worry about it. But I've got a line here that runs from behind the ball through the ball towards my target, and I always like to put one out. I've put it at an angle as well, so it's a slight slant, because you don't want to have it too vertical, because if you hit it, it could come back at you. But if your ball hits this and it's at an angle, it will just deflect off. But this is what we call your ball to target line, and this is my start line, all right? And this is an important line. This is going to be crucial later on in the video. And then my feet, okay, so my club head, sits behind that at a 90 degree, well, actually just slightly open. That'll be a separate video altogether to that target line. But my feet line, my feet, my knees, my hips, my shoulders, and importantly my eye line will all be fairly square or running parallel to my ball to target line. And bearing in mind as well that I'm aiming, or I'm stood to the left-hand side as a right-handed golfer, so my visuals and so on are totally different. Now, a lot of people try to take this as being like on railway tracks. So you've got the outside track here and the inside track here, and everything's running parallel here. This is a bog standard. Now, it's not necessarily true. There's people that play with feet slightly closed, but as long as your shoulders and more importantly your eye line is square, then you're not going to be too far off, all right? But the shoulders are probably more important, because the shoulders will probably dictate my swing path as I swing through. If my shoulders are closed, I'm probably more likely to swing out to in to out, or if they're open, I'm likely to swing outside to in. So it's really important you get that right and you understand that visual first, okay? So parallax, what is parallax? Thank you for watching so far. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom as well, and you'll get notified when I release a new video. Okay, so this is me in my station here, and you can just see the tips of my toes. I'll try and keep it in the camera, and you can just see the target line here. Now, parallax, what is parallax? Now, my target here is just to the left-hand side of this red and white flag that I've got at the end, just I don't know, 50 yards ahead of me. But there's a flag in the distance that it's aiming at. Now, when I'm stood here and I'm in my posture, that target, or that start line, okay, the yellow stick in the distance, okay, actually looks far to the right hand side of where my actual target is. All right, so my start line looks different, and that's parallax, because it doesn't quite meet, and my eyes are going to be deceived by that. So my start line, or my visual start line, is actually more to the right of the target than my actual than what I would normally would think. So it's really important that you understand that your visual is going to be off. So my start line is more to the right of the target. It actually looks to me, when I'm stood here, as though it's aiming towards that red and white flag, and yet my other flag is down here somewhere, okay? So these lines don't actually meet or cross. So it's really important you understand that. And this actually throws people's alignment out, because they end up starting aiming more to the right-hand side, and this then makes them come across the ball, and this really affects you. So you've got to really, really find that target line and swing towards your intended start line. Okay, and this is going to keep the club head more on path or in line than actually cutting across it or so on. So that's really where we want you to be thinking of and looking at parallax. Parallax is really important if you have that in your swing. So understanding parallax is important. Okay, it's the same as if I was holding a gun, okay, or holding something to aim at the camera. If I had my eyes directly on top of that, I could pretty much get it right, all right, and I can aim that towards the camera. Whereas if I'm standing like this and I'm trying to estimate, so I'm like this at arm's length, I'm trying to aim that towards the camera, I'm guessing that's probably aiming to the other side of the camera, whereas I probably should be more here, okay? So, but that's parallax for you. It deceives your brain. And the reason being for that is my start line or my swing line is more to the right of the target, but yet my feet line is going to be, it confuses people. So people think, hang on, so my target's there, so they end up aiming more in line with the target for one, so I'm a little bit closed already to the target, and then this makes them then swing round to the left because they bail out. Because for one, they're aiming at their intended start line, which looks more to the right of the target than normal, okay? So what this does is confuses them, so when they swing a golf club, they think, hang on, this is left of my intended start line, and they come across the ball, okay, to try and start it there, but end up they're hitting a big slice or a big pull hook. So the swing line, or my actual intended swing line, is more to the right of the target, okay, or will feel more to the right, as opposed to swinging at my target. This is what we call parallax. So most golfers, they'll stand here, they'll line up everything, right, that's all square, they'll have a little look to the target, they think, hang on, this feels like it's aiming miles right, okay, of the target, so then they readjust. So instead of adjusting their feet or anything else like that, and trusting this parallax line, they end up then just changing their swings to then come across it to try and swing it on the target. And this of course leads to out to in swings, slices, pulls, and all sorts and sorts. So having a clear understanding of what parallax is and how important that is to alignment is crucial to playing good golf, because it really affects you. Again, the eye see, the brain receives, and the body reacts. All right, so you've got to learn to trust that. When I'm playing on a golf course, I'll tend to pick a spot. It can be 2, 3, 4, 5 feet ahead of me. I've got like a piece of grass here that's a different color, or there's an old divot line here, and I'll use that as my intended start line, and that's my intended spot. So I'm going to swing that now towards that line, or feel as I'm hitting towards that line. I mean, it helps me because I've got all my lines out and so on, and just play a shot, just swinging it towards that target. So I know what my target is now, which is more to the right of it than it actually looks. There we are, it's gone straight at it. Okay, so that's how we do parallax. Alignment is so important, and also when you're practicing, please put as many things down as possible to help you with this. You're going to get, once you see it at practice, then you'll be able to perform it on the golf course. So there we have it. That's parallax. Okay, it's a little confusing, but once you get your mind around it and you can see it, then it really does help you quite immensely. All right, so again, thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also share with your friends as well. If there's somebody who thinks needs this, send it to them, okay, and hope this helps them, especially if you've been telling them on the golf course they're aiming incorrectly. Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed this one. Please leave a comment below if this is something that you needed or you wanted any information on, and I'll catch you again next week.